Welcome back to another UNC football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're checking us out on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones. And joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And we're going to focus on two uncommitted class of 2021 kids today. These are kids that are big-time targets in North Carolina's, one of whom Deana saw this past weekend at the Blazing 7-on-7 tournament in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The other one hails from the 757 up there in the Tidewater area, a five-star defensive back by the name of Tony Grimes. But we're going to start off with the guy you saw Saturday and Sunday this weekend in Rock Hill. You were raving about three-star tight end Bryson Nesbit, who goes to South Mecklenburg High School in Charlotte. Deana, in about a 90-minute period, you sent me about 8 to 10 text messages gushing about this kid. So fill everybody in on what you were telling me in those text messages.
Well, that was the first time I actually saw Bryson in person, and yes, I came away very impressed. He was probably, out of the kids that I saw, probably a top 5, top 6 player impressed at that event. He's got big size. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. Got great agility, mobility. He's a basketball player, so he's got great footwork. Just really, really impressed with him. Talked to him a little bit afterward. He's really likes Coach John Lilly and Coach Brown. I even gave you I even gave you a comparison to possibly an Eric Ebron, Antonio Gates combination. So I was really impressed with him.
Well, those are big-time comparisons. Of course, Carolina fans remember Ebron from a few years ago. He's a fantastic player for the Tar Heels, best tight end they've had in quite some time. When you look at Nesbitt, what one thing about his game just totally jumps out at you?
Well, he showed me some great jumping ability. He went up and got a ball. He made an impressive catch over there in the corner of the end zone. I thought there was no way that he was going to catch the ball, and he did. So he's got a lot of range. His dad, he's got football roots. His dad, Jamar, played at South Carolina, and he's a lineman with the Panthers. And so, he's got football bloodline, but he actually started out as basketball. And as you know, Antonio Gates was a star basketball player too.
Yeah, and we know that Mac Brown has always enjoyed having guys on his roster that excelled in other sports. So you talked to Bryson, as you alluded to a moment ago, afterward. What kind of vibe did you get from him, and what did you learn from him about where he stands on things right now?
Well, he released the top 14, and I know everybody's like, top 14, get back to us when he gets things down lower. But, I think he's just enjoying the recruiting process. And, with the pandemic being like it was, it's kind of delayed his decision. He wants to release another top 5, narrow it down some. And as he said, he's wanting to make a decision possibly after his season this year.
Well, one of the things that I really gathered from all the interviews you did with the Carolina committed players, and so in case people don't know, Drake May, Gavin Blackwell, J.J. Jones, and Dontavius Nash. Ra Dilworth was also there, only on Sunday, but you spoke to the other 4. And when you asked them about, trying to close out the rest of the class, who they were targeting, each of them mentioned Bryson Nesbitt. So I would imagine him being down there with those guys, all of them balling out the way that they did, had to really help Carolina's cause.
Well, when they were not on the field or playing, it looked like they were all kind of hanging out. So Drake mentioned Bryson, and then, JJ, when he was done with his game, he come over and watched, and, they were all watching each other. They're like, and that was the camaraderie between this bunch of recruits. They wanted to stay. JJ stayed around a long time to watch, the finals for the Silver Stars. And so, they're trying. That's one big thing about the 7-on-7 is they can, if a kid is not committed, it's a good recruiting tool for 4 and 5 UNC commits talking in the kid's ear and saying, hey, look what we're doing, won't you come join us?
It's amazing how big relationships are in recruiting. And it's not just relationships between the prospect and the coaching staff. Another kid who was not in Rock Hill this past weekend, we're going to see him up in Virginia Beach this coming weekend, is Tony Grimes, arguably the best defensive back in the nation, 5-star kid. He's going to announce next week on June 30th. What can you kind of update people what the latest might be? And I know that you have been working the texts and the phones and the DMs and all that kind of stuff. What's your vibe right now on where things stand with Tony Grimes in Carolina?
Well, he just released his top 4, Georgia, Ohio State, Carolina, and Texas A&M. Big thing about Tony and his dad is very vocal on social media is relationships, and he keeps talking about that. And Dre Bly is going to be huge in this one. Dre's the legend, from the Tidewater area. Even got a field named after him up there. So the relationship between Tony and Coach Glover with Coach Bly is just tremendous, and I think Carolina's in great shape. I've put in my prediction for UNC just because of the vibe I get. I think Tony can be that special kid, and he would be Mac Brown's first 5-star at UNC and can just make that a pipeline from that area that was once so great for UNC in the past. There's so much talent up there, and it's just it could be just gigantic, huge news, and put Carolina on the national map by landing a 5-star.
Well, Tony Grimes has been on our radar for a few years now, and because we had to cover all the kids that were offered and that were possible. There was a possibility of them being a serious UNC contender, or Carolina being a contender for them. And for a long time, it didn't really seem like Grimes and Carolina would happen. But the relationship with Bly, the trust factor with Dre Bly is significant here. And you mentioned that field, where we're going to be this weekend at the event that's going on up there. The Dre Bly Field's like 3 or 4 miles away. I'm going to go by and take a look at it. But the relationship is enormous. And Carolina has a lot of other things that Tony Grimes is looking for. I believe he said he wants to major in business. They have a great business school. It's not that far away. It's closer than the other schools among his Final Four. And if you're looking at upward trajectory, I think of all the programs in college football, certainly in the Southeast right now, North Carolina certainly handles that moniker very well. The program's trajectory is outstanding.
Well, it's not far from UNC from the Tidewater too. So, I'm sure his parents are very involved in his games and wants to come see him play. And so, if he chooses UNC, they'll play the Virginia schools, and then you got your North Carolina schools, and they can go up northeast to play when they play Pittsburgh and stuff like that. So, but I do think that one of the biggest things is Dre Bly, because he's living proof that a kid from the Tidewater region can go to UNC, excel, be All-American, go to the NFL, win a Super Bowl ring, make the Hall of Fame, and now he's coaching at his alma mater and bringing in a great recruiting class and helping Mac Brown bring UNC back to the limelight.
You'll be there next week for the announcement. By the way, the last 5-star that Carolina got was Elijah Hood, running back from Charlotte Catholic. Back in he was the class of 2014. So that's been a while since UNC's got one. And what would be huge about this, if they could land Tony Grimes, is another big-time kid, but outside the state. They've done so well inside the state, but going outside North Carolina to get a kid like this would be enormous for the class and for the program.
The thing about Elijah Hood, UNC Flip Tim from Notre Dame, Tony Grimes is top 4 is a who's who. You got Georgia and you got Ohio State and Texas A&M. So Carolina is battling, some really top programs for these kids. And so it's a great time to follow recruiting at UNC.
Well, one of the things that's become common under Mac Brown is that North Carolina is picking off kids that are seriously considering other big-time programs, and those are committable offers to those programs. So it's no secret, obviously, that the recruiting landscape for Carolina has changed. And if they're able to pick up Bryson, Nesbit, and Tony Grimes, then it'll take it up to an even higher level. Because I think that while Nesbitt's a 3-star, I think you believe that there's a chance he could be a 4-star. Just gets to be seen in person a couple of times. He certainly has 4-star potential. For Deana King, this is Andrew Jones. You've been watching another UNC football recruiting podcast right here on TarHeelIllustrated.com and on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated. Go ahead and click like. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the bell. Get the notifications so you get all of our updates whenever we upload videos, and we do it often. Thanks for stopping by.